He said, we saw 15 minutes of this film. You're going to be the biggest thing. Trust me. I know. I have Arnold. I know these things. You're going to be bigger than anybody. That's his exact words, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he tells it to everybody, but I believed it.
I kind of really
Yeah.
want to start at the beginning though, because you mentioned
Yeah.
you went out to LA to pursue acting. So
Yeah.
was there like a specific movie or a star where you were
Yeah.
inspired by, say, I want to be kind of like this and do this kind of stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. I think, as I said, Van Damme, myself, every single person that ended up in LA like a gunslinger, we all were like ready to go for it. You had to have a motivation,
Oh yeah.
I think with Van Damme, he said it was Hong Kong movies, and he idolized the Hong Kong fighters, Bruce Lee, and everybody, right? So
Mhm.
for me, it was never martial arts. It was a totally different thing. Um, I'm a track and field athlete, right? But I did judo and taekwondo, but it wasn't my calling. Everybody has a calling because I'm 6'5". So I was really good in track and you know, I trained 6 days a week, did competitions all around Europe, blah, blah, blah. But I had the foundation of martial arts, but that's never occurred to me I'm going to go to Hollywood, be a martial art fighter. What happened is I owned a fitness center and I had a crush on a girl. It's really simple. And she came with this magazine, and Dolph Lundgren was on top of the magazine. And
Oh
she
wow.
said, "Man, that's my dream, man. This guy, oh my God, he's like 6'7" and gorgeous." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I never be like him." And the girl was so infatuated. I knew I had no shot at her, right? But it bothered me so much. And then Rocky 4 came out. I walked to the movies and I watched it. And I thought, "Oh man, this guy's like a god." Okay, I'm gonna have to go to LA. I'm gonna have to challenge him, kind of. I'm gonna like a gunslinger. I want to see if he can do it. I'm not as good looking, not as tall. I'm gonna do it. So I went there, and as most people that go there, you go to Gold's Gym in Venice, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Because they're all Schwarzenegger, Stallone. I mean, to that day, everybody works out there, right?
Mhm.
So I knew I had to go there. I got a job picking up weights like anybody else. John Cena, we all did the same. We picked up weights, re-racked them. And the manager said, "Well, if you want to be in the movies that they're shooting He-Man, Master of the Universe,
Okay.
you should just go. Dolph is having dinner tonight in this restaurant. It's a VIP place. I'll put you on the list. I'll make sure you just go to Dolph and say, 'Oh, Dolph, I want to be an actor like you.' And just go. This is Hollywood. You can do it." So I go there, and I was so nervous. I didn't know what to wear. I was putting boots on, dressed all in leather, short sleeve. I thought I got to stick out.
Yeah, sure.
And I was waiting at the entrance, and there were so many people. It's just a VIP place. Not anyone can get in there. And suddenly this limo drives up, and Dolph gets out, bodyguard, cigar. Man, he was so good looking, just like in the movies, right?
Sure.
Larger than life. And my heart was beating. I was so nervous. I thought, "Oh my God, there's my chance. I can be in the movies." Naive, actually. Just got off the boat. What do I know, right?
Mhm.
So I block his way, and I said, "Hey, Dolph, I'm Matthias. I'm from Germany. I heard you're doing Master of the Universe. Maybe I can be in your movie." And
Mhm.
he looked at me from bottom to top, top to bottom, and said, "Well, maybe you can be my stand-in." And then he said, "But if someone," oh wait, he said, "Maybe this guy Ralph Miller, he should be my stand-in. If so at all, he could be my
Okay.
stand-in, right?"
Mm, cool.
So he pushed me aside more or less, and I was devastated. I thought, "Oh, wow, this is so harsh. What did I do wrong?" Later, of course, I realized that's not how it goes. And but that's how these things are. And then you just don't give up. You don't have a car or anything. You I heard about the audition, and the audition was somewhere in the city. So I get myself there, and there's a parking lot full of people, all 6'5", black, white, any nationality, right? With better looking than me, taller than me, muscles everywhere. And I thought, oh my God, Hollywood is just insane. How am I ever going to make it? You know, but I waited in line like anybody else, finally get there, but I never got the job. Another bodybuilder got the job, an African-American friend of mine, not friend, acquaintance later, you know. He was also a bodybuilder at Goldstream, but he had a mask on. He played the Skeletor.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I would have gotten it, I would have only had a mask on. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Wow.
that was the beginning, and I just didn't know. You know, you do everything. I've done so many things. Then I went to wrestling school because it wasn't about martial arts for me, because I'm not Van Damme, right? I knew that. I'm very
Yeah.
realistic. I'm just capable of doing action. I want to be an action guy.
Okay.
So I went to wrestling school, and that was very physical, and I liked it, but it wasn't for me because intellectually I didn't feel like a wrestler at that time. You know, I'm from Germany. I'm a bit more reserved. I'm shy. I'm not. I know. So it wasn't me. And I thought, okay, that's not me. And suddenly, believe it or not, I couldn't believe it. I get a phone call from the manager of Gold's Gym, Derek Barton, who used to be a stuntman. And he took a liking to me, and he said, "You're not going to believe it. I just got a phone call from a producer out of Hong Kong. They need to replace this guy Van Damme." I didn't know who Van Damme was, to be honest, back then, right? Is a Belgian martial art fighter, and he just walked off the set more or less. You know, that's their story, the version of their story. Your chance, go up there, audition. And I did. I drove up there, and I thought the only way in Hollywood to make it if I stick out, because I realized I'm a dime a dozen, you know. I mean, there's so many good-looking martial artists and fighters, and us, it's just too many people at that point. Bigger, better deal. That was in the 80s and 90s, right? And so I put on leather pants for my father, Bavarian leather pants, cowboy boots, a muscle shirt, totally hideous, to be honest. And yeah, it looked kind of weird, but this used to be also my acting shot. Like my 8x10, I was the first in Hollywood to use something with an upper body free in my leather pants. And that got me a lot of work later because people always used the face. And I thought, my face is not good enough. I'm just going to use my body. I'm going to use muscles. And I hung up that picture at Gold's Gym next to Arnold, Lou Ferrigno, all the other people. And it was always stolen. And I thought, oh, that's a good sign, you know. Long story short, I get there, and the producer, the female, Maria Cellino, who wrote the script, the moment I walked out of the car, she had written another script, a sci-fi movie with a guy with long blonde hair. And she said, that's the guy, even though it wasn't even the guy for the movie. But she felt for me, and she said, that guy's going to be a star one day, whatever. So, and the producer, Roy Horan, one of the producers, he looked at Maria and he said, "No way, that's not Van Damme, you know, that can't be. He doesn't, he's too big and whatnot." So he took me in the backyard, in the garden, and he said, "Let's fight, you know, let's throw kicks and stuff." So I know basic Taekwondo, Judo, all that, and he wasn't happy. You know, if you didn't do the splits, if you weren't Van Damme, you weren't Van Damme. I mean, I must admit that that's a far cry off Van Damme, German.
Yeah, he set the bar really high, so.
Oh, forget it. Never going to get there. Don't want to get there because that's not me, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why I love Van Damme, because I'm a fan from my side point of view. I don't want to be like him because I can't. Nobody can. It's Van Damme.
Yeah.
And there's Michel Kissy. There's all these people. Everybody's different. So long story short, the producer said, the female producer, if you don't take him, I'm not going to do the movie. And then,
okay, so she was a big fan of yours right from the get-go.
Yeah, she ended up being my godmother, and she discovered John Travolta. So I kind of had a hunch that I should hang with her afterwards. You know, John Travolta was at her house. Bruce Lee was there all the time. Believe it or not, she was that well connected, right?
Wow.
She knew Bruce Lee. I'm not lying to you. She had a restaurant. Bruce came. Everybody was always hanging out there because she was like an Italian mama. So,
Okay.
and she was adopting young actors, so to speak, and I was one of them. So was John Travolta, and Bruce Lee was a regular, but not managed by her or anything, you know. So, long story short, I fly to Bangkok, sorry, and I met Lauren Avedon on the plane. I had no idea who he is. He said, "Well, I don't know. This happened so quick. Kurt McKinney is not doing it. I shot this commercial for Slice, a 7-Up. They saw it. I got booked. Here I am. We're making a movie."
Wow.
It was amazing. I didn't even speak English. I had no clue what's going to happen. If it wouldn't be for Maria, who put her head out for me, you know, on a sling, I would have been never casted, ever, ever, not a chance. So I get there, and I have all this dialogue, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know how to act. I don't know anything. I'm not even. Anyway, I'm here, and there was one actor, Max Dyer, so I kind of like befriended him, and you know, show me how to act, blah blah blah. And then I'm in Bangkok, and I get a phone call. This is hilarious, I tell you. Come on down. We want to do something. And I'm like, oh, so I go down, and I see there's a camera set up and another camera, and there's like 1,000 people watching because it's Bangkok, you know. And the director, Ko Yang, he said, now show me what you got. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean? Show you what I got. Well, you know, do the splits, do this, do that. And I'm like, the guy flipped out. For a little while. He flipped out. He flipped out. He started yelling so loud in Chinese. Thank God I didn't know what he was talking about. And walked off. I mean, I'm fired. That's it, you know. So they left me behind and started filming without me. And I had to go in a training camp in Bangkok. I trained my ass off in movie fighting with the Hong Kong people, right? Yeah. With the stunt guys. And I really realized I have a thing for it. You know, I like it. I like to get punished. I like to fall. You know what I mean? I have no fear at that time. I was 26, right? Pain means nothing. And in Hong Kong, if pain means nothing, you have a shot, right? You have to do this for real. So eventually they're calling me into the jungle, and shit hit the fan right away. I mean, they hated me so much because I couldn't deliver my dialogue. All I had to do is in my chair, turn around and say something, but I couldn't even turn my chair around the right way. Missed my mark. The director runs off yelling, you know, whatever he said wasn't nice. The DP comes to me literally in the same moment and says, listen, if I can give you an advice once this movie is over, your nose is so big, you should have a plastic surgery on your nose if you want to make it in the business. And I'm like, oh my God, this can't get any worse, right?
Yeah, and, I think you'd say, hey, learn how to speak English and read the dialogue instead of fix your nose.
Yeah, and become Van Damme while you're at it.
Yeah, become Van Damme. Do the splits too while you're at it.
Yeah, and they cut my hair short and slicked it back so I look a little bit like him, and which never happened. I never looked like him. Long story short, they set up the first fight with their best fighter. He's the biggest and tallest from the Hong Kong people, and we went for it. And I hurt him really bad, unfortunately. You know, we hurt each other, but he got a bit hurt. It wasn't so much my fault. But I realized this is what Hong Kong is all about. And it clicked in me. And I said to myself, Lola, you don't have to bark. I said to myself, you must be willing to get hurt. And I changed my mind. And I said, I'll do anything you want. Okay. Any stunt, anything. I don't care. I'll do it. Drag me, punch me, whatever. I don't care. I'll do it. And I loved it so much. I became like that guy. I was looking for the next beatdown, right? And it wasn't enough for me, actually. I wanted to do more. And Lauren Avedon is such an amazing Taekwondo fighter, right? Yeah. That it was so easy to work with Lauren. I mean, he was just, well, you know, Lauren, you know what he can do. It's kind of what you do. Lauren does that. And it's very easy if you're big to fight someone like that. That's very professional. Never hurt each other. It was fantastic. And then Cynthia Rothrock, immediately my favorite person, because she was tougher than anybody. I mean, she was full contact all the time. At night, she couldn't even hold her toothbrush. She would never say no to anything, ever.
Wow.
She's the most adventurous, amazing woman I've ever met, right? I looked up to her, and we were both like newcomers in an American movie. Even though it was a Chinese movie, it was a big budget and it would go theatrical.
Yeah.
And we knew that. We knew this is our chance, you know. And we formed a really great friendship because I looked up to Lauren, I looked up to Cynthia because they were really crafted martial artists, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the journey started, of me having to adapt to these great fighters. See, like I said, I was not a martial artist. I wanted to come into this business as an actor without being an actor. It's actually kind of crazy, right? No speak English, no nothing, wants to be actor. But I had the feeling I could do it. So I went to acting class, all that crap. I was the worst actor. Horrible. Anyway, Rutger was kind of my idol, acting wise, you know. So I wrote to his agent. He answered. I couldn't believe it. ICM, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, maybe one day, not now. You not, you know, not there yet, blah, blah, blah. I heard that a lot. You're not there yet. Over the years, you work your way up to it, you know. Like Van Damme starts in a costume, right? My first job was hand doubling Ken Wall for Taking Beverly Hills. And I was so proud that I'm in the movies. I took it really seriously. I mean, I was in an actual helicopter on stage, inserting the magazine for Machine Gun. But it was only my hands, and I already thought I'm in Hollywood. You know, that's how delusional you are. But that's how it starts.
Yeah, sure.
And then I'm a bodybuilder on the beach with Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd, and with all the other big bodybuilders. And I thought, oh, now I'm in the movies. You see me. You know, that's how you start. It's really bizarre, you know. But you have to have that beginning in order to make it to the end, so that you actually are become an actor, or at least an action star, martial arts star. In the 80s, 90s, every single day, a guy walked into Gold's Gym who was as good as Van Damme. I mean, I'm not saying as good, at least, but they all could do splits,
Mm-hmm.
and they could fight, and they had a title. And they were French, or they were Belgians, or they were from Holland or Switzerland, and some were so good looking. And I know them all because we're all friends. I'm talking about Olivier Grenier. That's the ones that made it. Daniel
Oh yeah,
Bernhardt.
sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the ones that
Angel
made
Town.
it, right? Yeah. And then a countless others that never made it. And we were very competitive. We were all friends, but we were competing against each other. And I wasn't a martial artist like them, but we were still competing with,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I slipped into the martial art movies as a bad guy. So there I was, couldn't get rid of me. And I kind of learned it, and I loved it. And I love it so much that, you know, I'm really into it now. I will never be like you or Scott Atkins, but I'm devoted to martial arts as well, right? Because when you do movies, you learn from the best in a short period of
Oh,
time.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you go to camps. Like I did a movie Fist Fighter, and I went to a fighting camp with the guy that did Raging Bull and the first Rocky movie,
Oh wow.
right? Yeah, and he was. These people are very tough, you know. Like you really learn how to fight and box, and he split my lip the first day.
Mm.
And every single day you split it again, you know, till you learn to keep up your hands. Till I was ready, and then he was calling me girly man. I mean, he had it out. I mean, just that alone is a movie. How you get trained to be in the movies, to where they toughen you up. Uh, Benny Akitos, they all do it. They all hurt you a little bit. And this guy was the worst. He hurt me in my heart, and at the end, I just went for him. I'm in front of everybody. I just went for the guy, and there was this nasty skirmish, and I kind of, because I know you judo and stuff. Oh, I don't know if he let me win or what, but he kind of was on the floor faster than I thought, and but that was kind of the graduation. I guess he wanted to get me to become aggressive, to actually go for a real fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So
And you
yeah,
did. It's
so
interesting
it's
story.
fantastic. So there's a meaning to it. Or Benny Arkidas, he didn't like me. I could tell. And when, the contact hits, we have to take them for the camera, they were always a bit harder than for the others, I felt. But I loved it. I thought, punish me. I want to be like you guys, give
Mhm.
me something,
Yeah.
Sasha Mitchell was not a martial artist, but he became one. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
so he actually became one because of that. That's interesting.
Yes,
I thought maybe
yes.
he had a kickboxing background, but it's like he just learned it
Man,
as he got the
he
role.
learned
Interesting.
because we were both the weak link, and we hated it so much to be the outcast people, and we took it both seriously. I
Mhm.
mean, he took it really seriously because he went on to do more of
Oh
the
yeah, sure.
leading,
Bunch of
you
them,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. So my top to him. I love it. He's amazing. So um, if there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. Um,
Definitely. Okay, so it sounds like you didn't have the best well, it sounds like the people in Thailand for No Retreat, No Surrender 2 didn't really think you were the most qualified or suited for the role in the movie, but you obviously kept making movies and you still to this day make movies. So what happened right after that experience? Did you get offered another role or did you
yeah,
just go
it's
back
crazy.
working at Gold's Gym or what happened?
No, it's crazy. Well, I love this. This is like my favorite thing. It's like I come back and the movie doesn't come out. It, like Bloodsport. It just boom.
Just on the
You don't
shelf
know,
sitting there.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I started being a bodyguard, collecting money, working at Chippendales, all kinds of odd jobs. Crazy shit, literally. Uh,
Okay.
which you need to do in order to become a bigger, better person. You need to. I slept. I had no place to live. I slept in. I met a guy. He was working in a mud wrestling place, and he let me sleep in his laundry room with a pit bull on the floor. That was my life. And literally in the laundry room outside the house with the pit bull in the dirty laundry. But I loved it because I wanted to suffer, or for some reason, I want to earn it, like the dishwasher career. And then I end up being a referee in a mud wrestling place where the girls wrestle in the mud and all the movie stars go. But I'm the referee, and at night I'm digging the mud back out of the pit, and all these pretty girls, they just walk by me like I'm a janitor or something.
Mm.
It was just horrible, but I embraced it. And time goes by, and believe it or not, the movie comes out in the movie theater
Okay.
in Hollywood Boulevard. And I'm like, oh my God, this comes out of the left field. So I go there, and it was sold out. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And I'm walking in as a nobody, and I'm walking out. I'm outside, and there were some TV stars there and all that stuff, minor, not minor, but just TV. Back then, TV was not so big
Yeah,
like today.
sure. Yeah.
I saw the movie. Congratulations. And I thought, oh my God, this is crazy. You know, uh, I'm in the movies. And I'm telling you, the next day, the phone rang.
Okay.
The next day, it was a film called Fist Fighter, the one with the guy from Rocky, right?
Yeah.
He saw the movie on that weekend, and he tracked me down. And they were about to cast a football player who was 6'11", but
Jeez.
he, in the audition, hung the producer upside down out of the window, out of the fourth floor, to show how strong he is, and that killed kind of his job. And then, literally, and then
Yeah.
they
Interesting.
told me that. I'm like, what an idiot. And they said, you got the job. So that was my next movie. And then that also went theatrical. They had a
Oh,
billboard as on New York Times Square, as big as the whole
yeah.
New York.
You're getting great exposure pretty
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. And then But I had no money. None of these movies pay any money, you know. I was always living on a couch with some girl, and then I did movie with PB Herman.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
sure.
yeah, and all these big people are in this movie, you know. Benicio del Toro, Valeria Golino. She was a beautiful Italian movie star, and I was basically I was living on a couch. I had no car, and Chris Christopherson and everybody. Next thing you know, the girl is like coming, you know, we're becoming friends and she wants to date me. So she calls Maria, my manager from No Retreat, No Surrender Part 2. She's Italian. She's Italian. She says, I'm going to marry Matthias, you know?
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, but I have a girlfriend. And she was a big movie star. And so she calls me and says, let's go to Steven Spielberg's house, you know, hang out there. She was connected.
Yeah.
And I was very young and I didn't know yet. And I didn't go because I had a girlfriend, right?
Mhm.
And then she took Benicio del Toro, and then she kind of got the hint, and she started dating him. And
Okay.
look what you know. So she took him in the right circles too, right?
Yeah, sure.
That's you should always think about twice. I was dating someone nice person, beautiful girl, but she was a waitress at Tropicana, right?
Hmm.
And but to end this in a really sad note, but funny now. Uh, Someone took a picture of Valeria Golino and me holding hands like this, staring each other's eyes like two lovebirds, blew it up and send it to my girlfriend. And I come home from filming. I moved from another couch to her couch at that time, from my friend's house into her house. We
Hmm.
just started dating. Long story short, I come home, there's suitcases on the street.
Wow. So basically, you might as well have just dated the the other girl because your girlfriend thought you did anyway.
Right. Homeless
Wow.
again. Yeah. Um, but I suddenly get a phone call, the phone call of your lifetime. This is unbelievable. If you think about it, I didn't know what this call was about. It was, they needed a track and field agent, athlete, not an
Mhm.
agent. I'm a CIA agent, by the way. Uh, I have funny stories about that too, the CIA. But long story short, um, I get that phone call because I'm an athlete. And I go to the casting office, near Universal, and the room was full of athletes, like big guys, you know, tall guys, basketball player, track and field guys like me, and they were looking for someone that can jump over cars and do stunts and like the ultimate guy,
Yeah.
physic, physicality as an athlete, not a fighter. And I finally make it inside. I thought, oh, whew, so many again. And the director takes one look at me, and that was it. It was love on first sight. That was Greg Bexley, and he said, you know what? I'm going to talk to you alone. There was not even a casting for me. He took me in the main room, and he said, listen to me, and listen to me really careful. This is going to sound really strange, but this is true. It's your date today. I'm like, what is my date today? He said, do you know Dolph Lundgren? And I'm like, do I know Dolph Lundgren? You know, I was like, yeah, I know Dolph Lundgren. And he didn't know how I knew him. And I was like, what is it going to be with Dolph or something? Yeah, you're not going to believe it. Dolph, it's supposed to be the star of this movie. And it's a Terminator alien movie.
Mhm.
He doesn't want to do it. Can you believe it? He doesn't want to do it. And
Okay.
I'm like, so where do I come in? You're going to do it. And that's your movie, not his movie, because the movie was written for the alien, not for the cop. He wants to be the cop. Who wants to be a cop? He wants to be the cop. I
Wow.
think he wants to show that he's also an actor, but in my opinion, he's making a mistake. That's what the director said. But
Mhm.
he's Dolph Lundgren. He can do what he wants. It's your chance. But but you're gonna you're gonna have to do everything I say. I mean, this is gonna be crazy what you're gonna have to do. If I say jump, you're not gonna ask how high you jump, right?
Mhm.
You're gonna do it. And I said, yeah, I'm used from Hong Kong movies. One Hong Kong movie, not movies. One Hong Kong movie I've done. So I said, I'll do it. I don't care. And I did, and it was crazy. I mean, I risked my life. on a nightly basis. And I lived to please this guy. I mean, I lived to please this director. This is all I could think because Dolph was in the movie, and I was only a small. I mean, I had a small trailer. Dolph had a trailer, like huge. I never saw him. He was like a movie star, and I was nothing. So I was always out there with the crew. I loved it. I loved every second of it. But I had no working permit. I was illegal. I had walked the Mexican borders a few times, and it didn't matter. They didn't know. I had fake papers. Anyway, I work. Long story short, um, it was insane. I mean, it was to the point where I literally thought, "Am I going to make this?" Because each time I was doing something, there's a fight or the stunt coordinator said, "That one he's not going to make it. He's going to blow up his." And he kept always saying, the director, he's just going to have to run fast or whatever, because I can't see with these white lenses.
Oh, that's funny, because this question that Matrix
Yeah.
Cobretti asked, he said, another question for Mr. Hues: how hard was it to run and move with those cloudy contact lenses in Dark Angel?
Yeah, you don't see anything.
You can't
see
anything.
no, just shadows. It's like a blind leading the blind, right? And I'm not exaggerating. I would never do this again. So, and I have shoes to make me taller than Dolph. Dolph is exactly the same height like me, believe it or not, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we both like that. I don't know. It's like brothers or something. The same. You put us head to head, we're the same. So they said, you have to be taller. And they're putting me in these boots, moon boots. Who's going to run in moon boots, right? So, but I rehearse all these scenes in sneakers with my nice eyes, real eyes. No problem. I can run over any car, jump over a car if I need to. Not anymore, but I used to. And do all that. And then they put the eyes inside, put the moon boots, and you've done it. Excuse me. You've done it so many times that you just go for it. In the film world, you always have to just go for it, because what else you're going to do, right? It's like an athlete, go for it, tunnel vision. So I run, but the downfall was that it's up in a parking structure that's really high, and they built a tower outside with the camera on, and it held 3 people plus me jumping onto it. But there's actually, I mean, you can fall down there and then you're finished, right? So, and I come with an incredible speed, and then when I jump through the window, I'm going to be on fire. So nobody knew if I'm going to take everybody down into hell with me. Neither did I. And they call action, and again, the stunt guy says, "We can't do this. Matthias is going to explode." Blah blah. No, he knows it. He's going to run. He's just going to have to run faster. He always did that. He's just going. So, long story short, I survived it. Nobody got hurt. And then you think, okay, that's a one-off, because today I wouldn't do it anymore. That was in the 80s, where you still had to do your own stunts,
Yeah, no green screen, nothing like that.
Yeah. And you know what? I admired Dolph so much. I mean, he was like an idol to me. We couldn't bond because he was kind of like segregated. The couple of times I met him, it was really nice, I mean, for me, I got vindicated because I got that job. That's kind of
because you first went out there. Your first experience was, like you mentioned, trying to get the masters of the universe and meeting up with them and
right.
asking them, and then later you got this movie
facing off. It was for me. I was very, very blessed and loved Dolph for it. That was just amazing for me, and I'm telling you, I got caught on this movie, and by the INS. It was a huge scandal, but Columbia Pictures kind of saved the day, or MGM, I forgot who it was. One of the big boys. I got yelled at. Because of them, I got a green card,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then while I'm shooting, this is unreal. Suddenly, there's this Jaguar and a Porsche, and 2 guys get out, right? And I'm just about to do a stunt, and the Greg Bexley comes, stop. And I'm like, no, I'm jumping. No, don't. There's 2 guys that want to see you. And I said, but how's that possible? I'm in the middle of a movie. I said, no, those guys When they come, that's it. We were in Hollywood at that time, reshoots, right? And you must see them right now. I said, I'm in a costume, you know, I'm like 7 feet tall. Doesn't matter. Go like that. Who cares? So I'm cramping into that Porsche in my outfit, you know, and they drive with the white eyes weren't in, but white hair. I look like a freak.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and they drive me to the Italian restaurant in downtown. And when we walked in, the place was like quiet. They thought this is an alien invasion, you know, literally. And
Yeah.
it was great to see that. I loved it. I used to actually drive around town in between takes in the picture car, looking like this and looking at people without the white eyes, but it was still scary enough.
Sure.
But long story short, he sat me down. He says, listen to me. I have Sylvester Stallone. I have Arnold Schwarzenegger. I have Jean-Claude Van Damme. I have Bruce Willis. I have Dolph Lundgren. And if you sign with me tonight, I have you.
Wow.
You are the next big movie star in Hollywood. I'll get you any deal in any studio, $1 million each, 3-picture deal, but you have to sign tonight. And I was like, wow, this is like in the movies, you know.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen every day. So I signed it, and he said, we saw 15 minutes of this film. You're going to be the biggest thing. Trust me, I know. I have Arnold. I know these things. You're going to be bigger than anybody. That's his exact words, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he tells it to everybody, but I believed it. And I got signed up with a powerful agent who has Brad Pitt, Eileen Feldman, right? And
Wow.
then, yeah, so I go to Beverly Hills after the movie, and then there's this reception. And have you seen Entourage?
A few episodes, not all of it.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like an Entourage where you're sitting in this high-powered agencies, and then there's this conference room, and there's all these agents, and they celebrate you, and and it's like your future. Yeah, now welcome
Yeah,
to
sure.
paradise. Welcome to paradise. Life's going to be great from now on. I go to Gold's Gym. First thing, Van Damme comes up. Congratulations, Jake Bloom, that guy. He just showed me a movie in a private screening. Welcome to the big league. Here's what you should do, and here's what you shouldn't do. And he tells me all these things. Don't be a pushover. Always control your projects. Make sure you edit yourself. Don't let them always tell you what to do. Have your own opinion. Be strong. And I'm like, okay, Junko, I get it. I understand it. I was like, wow, okay. It was like a lot for me, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So obviously the movie doesn't come out for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that year, nothing. I didn't know that they first wait to see the box office if this movie actually does anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I laid at the pool for 1 year, train every day, terribly tan. And then the movie comes out. I get a limo, all my friends. It's a true story. Drive to the movie theater, big theater in Westwood, one of those nice ones, you know. And there's a line around the building, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so great to be a movie star. This is so cool. I'm going to see myself on screen and everything. So we finally get to the cash register. All my friends with me, and I said, tickets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you still have like 8 tickets left? She looks at me. What movie? I said, I Come in Peace. She said, yeah, plenty.
Okay, plenty. That's not good.
This is no good.
No, that wasn't good. So I'm like, oh, that's not good. Anyway, we go inside, and then I forgot. I think it was Die Hard 2. It was a major movie that was running. Like that other movie obliterated us. The line was for the. As far as I remember, it was Die Hard 2.
Wow.
Don't quote me on it. One of those major event movies, right?
Sure.
Killed us. We only made $3.7 million over the weekend. That's nothing. My career was over.
Wow.
I mean,
That
over.
sucks, man. That's crazy. Like,
I got
there's so
fired.
many variables. Like, you had everything.
Yeah.
They wanted you. They believed you. Hey, welcome to the big club. Your movie comes out. Everybody's watching the other big movie. And then it's like, that's it. You're done. It's like,
Fired.
what about Dolph? Maybe Dolph should be done.
He was done too.
Jeez, man.
That was his last theatrical movie.
Yeah.
For a while, right? So he kind of like boom, gone. Nobody wanted him because he was the star. He was the marquee star, and I was the guy that was supposed to break out. So we just both like flatlined on this one. So he had no more movie in the theater. No, he didn't even have the Punisher was before, so there was nothing. And what happened is I got picked up. I was lucky. I couldn't believe it. I get a phone call right after. Someone picked me up anyway. It was the producer from Terminator, right? Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah, Platoon, all this Hemdale Productions. We want you. A ridiculous amount of money for me at that time. And I go in, I meet with the director. You are playing a fallen angel. I thought, oh, Dark Angel again. Yeah, look. I said, my long hair, oh, this is good because I'm
Yeah.
not cutting my hair, right? I lost Nemesis, a couple other movies because they asked me, Albert Pune asked me to cut my hair for Nemesis. And I said, no. So he said, they kicked me out of the office.
Mm.
You know, they were so angry. But I knew I had to keep it like this in order to be different, right?
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, I go there, have a meeting with the director, all good, sign the contract. They sent me to a special makeup store. And the same thing like Van Damme, you know, you get that mask with a straw, the whole body. And I'm like, no, I'm used to it. I'll probably get blown up. No big deal, you know, still gullible. They call me back a couple of weeks later and he's holding a mask. And I'm like, that's a mask. He said, you're going to put that on? I said, but why? Well, because I thought I'm an angel, fallen angel. No, well, yeah, but you play the fucking devil, right? I'm like, the devil? No, I am an angel, a fallen angel. No, no, you're playing the devil. Put this thing on if you want it on. So I put it on and I'm looking in the mirror like, that's Freddy Krueger. I look just like him. Oh, well, you signed the contract. You're going to do it.
Mm.
And they talked about Billy Idol, Tina Turner. It was a bigger budget movie at that time. Don't be stupid. Do that movie. And then they hit a wrong nerve with me. And I said, no, I'm not. They said, no, you are. I said, I'm not. Well, nobody says no to us. We're the most, we can destroy you. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing it because of it. So I go home and then they call Maria, Italian. She's like also mobster related and everything. So they live in another world. And the guy that called her was like threatening to break her leg or something if I don't sign it, right? And I think they were joking. And I still don't know to that day if that's true or not, but that's what she told me, right? She had to talk me into it or else. I'm like, that's really, now I'm definitely not going to do it. No, fuck, no way. Sorry.
Yeah.
I get that phone call and I thought I'm in the movies. You know, it's like you get a phone call from Sopranos with that dialect, with that power in their voice. It says, you don't know who you're fucking with. This is the most powerful company in Hollywood. You will never, ever, ever work in Hollywood again. Not only that you will never, ever work in Hollywood again, we'll hunt you out of this town and you never come back. So think twice about what you're going to say now. And I said, no, I'm not doing it. Boom. Yeah. And next thing you know, I get detained by the INS.
Really?
Yeah. They really went for it. And I told my manager at that time, I'm going to run. I'm coming back through Mexico. There's no way you can stop me, But we could actually, I still had a few days left on my green card, so they couldn't do anything. And then I quickly renewed it.
Okay.
So they thought I had no green card, because the word got out at one point. So I got lucky. But they were making my life miserable. And then, luck has it, that company went out of business.
Oh, really?
The biggest company in Hollywood, because the man, the owner kind of had some financial discourse and he died and blah, blah, blah. And he went out of business. And then later on he died. So with that died the threat of me never working again.
Died with him. There it goes. That worked out for you.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm happy he died. I'm just saying he would have died anyway, not because of me.
Sure.
And and years later, I meet this guy in Brentwood, really nice guy. And he's like, my uncle is John Daly, my mentor. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the guy. And now I'm sitting in his living room and I have to pretend, oh yeah, he's a nice guy.
That's funny. Wow, that's crazy.